folks, I'm Mrs. Armsworth. I will be your chemistry teacher for the year, and I wanted to do an introduction to the online resources we'll be using in class by using a video, just because in case you missed the first day or you forget, it's just an easy way to refer back to and find the resources that we were talking about. So the first set of resources I want to talk to you about are access through office.com. With your school email account, you have access to all or most of the programs that you see here. So let's look at how that works. So when you go to office.com and log in, you'll have access to a variety of apps. You'll typically, or I typically, end up on Outlook first, and that is your email account. It is important that you check your email account regularly. Your Canvas account and your Aspen account should be linked to your school email account. So whenever a teacher sends a notification through Canvas or through Aspen, you want to be notified about that communication. So it's very important that you check this account daily. In addition to Outlook, using this set of buttons in the top left corner, you can access other apps. The standard apps include OneDrive, which is cloud storage. OneNote is something that we'll use in this class, and I'll show you that in a moment. Teams is something we'll use for video conferencing in case we ever need to meet for class live from home. You can also customize this apps menu. I added in Canvas because that's an app I frequently use. Pearson Easybridge, which is how you access your online chemistry textbook, and Edulastic, which is the software that we use for tests in chemistry. So those are all important apps that you might want to add to your apps menu for convenience by clicking this all apps, and then you can add in any of the apps that you see there. So let's dive into a couple of these other Office 365 features. First, let's look at Teams. If you click the Teams link, you will be taken to your Teams page. This is a little hard for me to show you when class hasn't started yet, but I've made a dummy account here. And whenever we are going to meet live for class, this is the software we'll use to do it, and whenever there's a live class meeting going on, you should have a join button here in your Microsoft Teams menu where you can join in on the video conference. So this app here is OneNote. It's sometimes also called Class Notebook. They're really the same app. They're Class Notebook is more designed for education. There are a couple different sections of OneNote that you need to know about. There's a collaboration space where everyone can type on it. So we might use this for a driving question board like the one you see here, where different students can type in their questions, like how do we measure mass? And then everyone can kind of work on together in this collaborative space. I will sometimes turn it off if it's not something that we should actively be working on, but we will sometimes use this collaboration space. The content library is really the meat of the course. You cannot change anything in the content library, but you can drag and drop the material from the content library into your own workspace, and I can send things, push things out to your account, to your own personal workspace. Within any particular module, I can have different assignments. You can see here so far in Module 0, I have a set of safety notes, I have a set of measurement and calculation notes, and I have one homework assignment. This is not generally where you will find homework assignments. I usually put homework assignments in Canvas, but I might put some assignments in OneNote, especially if we're going to be working on them together online. The nice thing about OneNote is that I can view your work in real time through OneNote. So as a teacher, I can view every student's personal notebook space, but as a student, you'll only be able to view your own class notebook. I can view student work, individual student worksheets, and I can even come in and view those worksheets in real time as you are working on them. So this will be good if we have to switch to remote learning at any point. I can come in and tell you if a question is wrong, or I can add a comment telling you that you're missing some information, and give you feedback like that in real time. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is Google Drive. Google Drive, you have access to a whole bunch of Google products using your school email account, but not Gmail. You have to access Gmail through Office 365. But most other Google products you can access using your school account. It is important, a lot of the features won't work if you are logged into your personal Gmail account. So it is important to look up in this top right corner and see what your main login is. It should be your school account with your school email address. And if it's not, click on the link and sign yourself out and log in only. You can sign out of all accounts if you're signed into multiple accounts, and make sure you're only logged in to your school email account. Canvas integrates really well with Google Drive, which is why this is really the cloud storage source that I want you to use more often. Being logged into your school Google account allows you kind of automatic login to a lot of the other websites that we'll be using. So let's look at how you can use your school Google account and associate it with your Canvas account. So if you log into Canvas, this is the first page that you come to, is your dashboard. You want to click Account in the top left corner, and you want to click Settings. And when you do that, you're brought to this page, and you may have already linked your Google Drive as one of your registered services. And if so, you'll see Google Drive here under Registered Services, and it should have your school email account listed here. If Google Drive is listed over here with other services, then you need to link your Google Drive account. So you just click the Google Drive link over here and follow the steps to log into your Google Drive and link the accounts. It will really make submitting your work on Canvas a lot easier to have easy access to Google Drive. Next, I want to talk about Canvas itself and how we're going to use Canvas as a course. But before I do that, I want to make sure that you get all the communications you should get through Canvas. So let's just check your Canvas settings first. So again, go to Account in the top left corner and click Notifications. And when you do that, you should come up with a window that looks like this with a whole bunch of green boxes. Notice that the check mark means that you want to be notified right away. The clock means you want to receive a notification, one email at the end of the day summarizing that information. And the calendar means you want a weekly summary. The X means you don't want to receive that notification at all. So the main things I want to be sure that you receive are the announcements. The announcements, you definitely want a green check mark there. Grading, a green check mark there. Submission comments. A lot of times, if you have an incomplete submission, like you didn't give me page 2, I will comment on that as a submission comment, and if you don't receive submission comments, you'll never know that you were missing page 2. And then conversation messages down here, under conversations, conversation messages. You'll want to be notified of those right away, and that's just kind of a way to send emails through Canvas. Next, let's talk about how chemistry looks on Canvas. So when you choose your Chem 1 course, you'll get taken to the home page, and this is the home page. If you end up somewhere else on the course, you can always come back to this page just by clicking home. And I tried to have links to all of the most important course resources here in one place. Most of the resources from this page link you to specific topics, like the modules that you'll get tested on, like Module 0, Module 1, Module 2, Module 3. But there are a couple of not tested, untested modules I want to talk about first. The first one is the calendar. The calendar, surprisingly enough, is a calendar where I will kind of let you know one module at a time what our timeline for that course is. So you can see when we're going to have a lab or a quiz or a test, and you can plan for that. And I will update this one module at a time. Another link is the kind of beginning of the year information in case you don't remember how what my grading policy is, what my late policy is. You can go to this beginning of year information page to see what those rules are, or any of the important handouts that I did at the beginning of the year. The last thing, which I hope you will find helpful, is kind of key learning resources. Throughout the year, I'll have key handouts that students often find helpful to use beyond just the module where they learned them. So for instance, significant figures. We're going to use significant figures all year long, not just in Module 0. So at some point during the year, you may want to have a quick reminder of, wait a second, how do I do significant figures again? So you might want to look for this key handout. You might not remember when exactly we learned it, but it's this key skill that you need to know, so you can click back here and find that key handout so you can remember how to do one of those important tasks like significant figures. Okay, so let's look at one of these tested modules and see what kind of resources I have there. Let's just look at the first real module we'll do, which is measurements and calculations. When you click the link, it does take you right down to the measurement and calculations module. You can also access this list by just clicking modules, and it will also take you to this page. If you ever don't need to view a module, you can just kind of reduce the module, make it smaller. Like, I don't need to see these key learning resources right now. I'm really just focused on module 0B. So you can see that I organize everything by the date that we covered the material, so that if you're ever absent, you can click the date that you were absent and just access the material right away. When you're in the module, let's say I missed the 25th and the 27th. So I click the 25th to kind of see the links for the things that I missed, see what the homework was. And then rather than having to go back to the modules page and find the next date, I can just click next so that I can see the next date and see what I missed. This may also help you if at the beginning of the class period, I say get out the homework due today, and you're like, what was the homework? You could just quickly go back to the previous day and see what the homework assigned was. So hopefully that will help you navigate through the module. Another important resource that you may find useful is that at the bottom of each tested module, there are 2 important links for you to know about. There's always going to be a review resources page, and there's always going to be a test remediation page. The test remediation page is there to, it's an assignment for you to do after you've taken a test if you've done poorly on the test and you need to kind of recover some points for that. So that will be available after test day. The review resources, these resources are here to help you study for a test or review for the midterm or for the end of course exam. You will always find the notes and the PowerPoint links here. You will always find a Quizlet here to help you study vocabulary and definitions. So that's useful throughout the unit. If you need to know vocabulary word, a definition, you can head straight to the Quizlet page. There will be Quizizz. I usually use Quizizz for extra credit before a test, but you can access it here, not for extra credit. There's a time window where you can get extra credit, but you can have a look at the kind of practice questions, multiple choice style, to prepare you for a test. There's always going to be an objectives checklist here, so you can check to make sure, yes, I've covered all of that material that I need for the test. And The rest of the page, after those general resources, the rest of the page will be organized by specific topics of the material that we've learned. So you can see in Module 0, we're going to cover significant figures, we're going to cover scientific notation, we're going to cover dimensional analysis. And if you had difficulty in any one of those areas, you can zoom in on the videos or the key handouts or maybe a simulation that will help you review and study that particular topic. Okay, so if you're a student and you need to submit something on Canvas, how do you do it? Well, if there's an assignment that you can submit on Canvas, there will be a blue Submit Assignment button in the corner, and you will be able to tell before you submit how you can submit your entry. So in this case, you can, for this particular example, you can do a text box entry or do a file upload. So if I click Submit Assignment, I'm actually given a few choices here. Right now I'm demonstrating text entry. So I click the text entry box, and here I just want to kind of copy these questions so that I can fill in the blank with my answer. So I'm happy with my answers. I can submit my assignment, and you can see that I get kind of a positive reinforcement that I did actually successfully submit. I got my confetti to let me know. If you're allowed to resubmit, if you realized, oh, I made a mistake, you can click resubmit and go through the process again. So that's how you do a text entry, very straightforward. But I want to show you how to use this integrated Google Drive feature to submit something from Google Drive. So let's go through this process again. I'm going to submit the assignment, and this time I want to submit from Google Drive. So I'm going to submit from Google Drive, and it's because I've integrated Google Drive, it's going to pull up my Google Drive right here from Canvas, and I'm just going to pick some random, here, Argentina and Mongolia. I will submit this assignment. Obviously has nothing to do with chemistry, but just to show you how to do this. And then I'm going to hit submit. Now, it is not yet submitted. I have to click submit assignment one more time, because right now it's basically just confirming that, hey, was this the right file that you wanted to submit? Yes, it is. Now I must hit submit one more time. And here I should eventually get confetti, but right now I'm getting this warning message that Canvas is currently processing my submission. I can navigate away from this page, okay. And hopefully I will get that confetti confirmation at some point, but it says that it's submitted correctly, and now I have a resubmit assignment. Sometimes when you submit from Canvas, you don't necessarily get the confetti, but you should be able to see that yes, you submitted and the correct submission time. If you're on a Chromebook, you're probably going to be uploading from Google Drive, but if you're on a home computer, you may just want to upload something from your computer. That's a similar process to the Google Drive upload. You're just, instead of clicking Google Drive, you're just going to do file upload. You're going to choose a file from your computer, and I'm just going to be on my desktop. I'm just going to pick a random file to upload, and I will submit the assignment. And confetti to let me know that I did it correctly. So those are 3 different ways that you can go, that you can submit assignments on Canvas. Okay, if you've submitted something on Canvas, I'm going to give you your feedback on Canvas, and it's important to know how to be able to access that feedback. So here is an assignment that was previously submitted, and I made some random comments. In order to view my comments, you have to go to Submission Details, and then you click View Feedback, and you can see that sometimes the comments are color-coded, so the blue comment here corresponds to this blue writing on the paper. But even if it's not color-coded, you can still mouse over and see what comment belongs to what marking on the paper. So I like your heading. This red X here means I was supposed to write 2 paragraphs, or the student was supposed to write 2 paragraphs. So this is an example of how feedback looks on Canvas and how to go about accessing it. So there's some right ways and some wrong ways to submit your work. Some ways make it hard for me to view your work. Some ways make it hard for you to read the feedback. So that's where these kind of rules are coming from. So these are the rules I want you to follow when submitting work online. Please, whenever possible, submit your work on the assigned handout. This way you don't accidentally skip problems. That happens so often. And also it's so I can find the answers. If the layout is the same on everybody's page, then when I grade 100 assignments, I can find 100 answers. How do you do this? One way to do it is to have a printout of the worksheet that I've given you and write on the handout, and then take photos of your work. Another way to do it is to use some software like Cami, where you can write directly on PDFs. And Cami works well with Google Chrome, and it works well. And all of the colored writing that you see down here was added with Cami. So, and I'll show you the Cami app in a little bit. But this is really how I'd like you to present your work, so that the formatting of my question is preserved, and then I know that this answer corresponds to this question. If you cannot submit work on the handout, that is okay. Please just do your work on lined paper. That is really the easiest way to do it. Do give me the title at the top of the page. Please number all of your problems so that I can tell what answer corresponds to what question. And if there's a lot of work that you've shown, you should always show your work. But if there's a lot of work there where the answer isn't immediately obvious, please circle your answer. Please copy formatting where possible. Like if there's a table on the worksheet that you're supposed to fill in, copy the table on your lined paper. What I do not want you to do is I do not want you to copy your worksheet into a Word document or a Google document and then type on it, because that does not preserve the formatting, and then the formatting goes all wonky. It's hard to show your work clearly when you just type in Word. And the formatting gets messed up. So this is supposed to show a balanced equation, and it just doesn't. I'm not going to waste my time trying to grade unclear work, so please don't submit work that looks like this. It is best to submit one multi-page document per assignment. And the reason why is because it's easier for me to give you feedback. And more importantly, it's easier for you to view the feedback on Canvas. It also makes it easier for you to resubmit work if you have to. The best way to do this is to take photos of your work, maybe using your phone, pasting them into a Word document or a Google document in the correct order, and then submitting it to me that way. Please make sure that your photos make your writing readable. So in this picture that I'm showing you right now, I can read the handwritten words at the bottom of the page, but not so much the stuff at the top of the page, because it's angled away from me and it's small and I can't read it anymore. So please don't submit work that looks like that. Please try to take a picture where all of your answers are readable. Make sure your picture is well lit. Make sure it's not blurry. Photos should take up the whole page. A great way to go about doing this is to use CamScanner or an app like that where you can use your phone to take a series of pictures, and it will save a single PDF file for you and will actually save it automatically to Google Drive for you. So again, that makes it easy to upload your homework using Canvas. Okay. If you're doing this electronically, the previous examples were telling you how to submit your work that had been done on paper. But if you're submitting work electronically, Cami is a great way to type on PDFs. Again, I showed you before, all of this colored writing was added using Cami. So the main reason I want you to submit just one document per assignment is because although I can view every single assignment that you submit, you can only view the comments on the most recent thing that you've submitted. So if you resubmit something that I've already written on, you lose access to those comments. The only time that it really makes sense to submit multiple files for an assignment is if you have to have two totally different file types. Like for instance, you're doing a project where you've done a Google Doc report as well as Google Slides presentation. And if you're submitting two totally different file types, then it's okay to submit two totally different files. But otherwise, one document per assignment, please. So Aspen is the way that teachers contact families, parents, and students. So it's super important to make sure your school email address is associated with your account. I'm not 100% sure how to change this as a student because I don't have a student Aspen account. However, when you are logged on to Aspen, your name should appear in the top right corner, and you can set your preferences, and you should have a communication tab where you can check to make sure that your email address is correct and updated. It's important to know that the grades on Aspen are correct. That is the place you go to look for grades. You will sometimes see grades posted on Canvas. I will sometimes use Canvas if there's an uploaded rubric for grading, but generally speaking, Aspen is where you look for grades. So you will sometimes see grade codes entered on Aspen. Here are those grade codes that I use and their meanings. So M is a missing. It counts as a 0, so it does hurt your grade. If you hand in late work, you will be penalized 5% per day until we take the test on that material. Once we've taken the test on the material, I generally do not accept late work. There is no penalty if a student has a valid absence and submits work promptly after they've returned to class. M means the assignment can still be submitted. I will change the M grade to a 0 when it can no longer be submitted. You cannot fix 0 grades, but you can fix M grades. ABS, absent, is another code that you will sometimes see. An absent grade does not affect your grade yet. I don't use this very often. It's for extended excused absences only. Like if somebody has a medical excuse and they have kind of so many missing assignments that it's really tanking their grade and we're coming up on a progress report or something like that. I will change these absent grades to an M if the work is not submitted promptly after returning to class, and my syllabus explains how long you have to submit makeup work. EX means excused. This does not affect your grade, doesn't count for or against you, and I use this for activities that do not need to be made up. CHT stands for cheat. It does count as a 0. If you copy or allow someone else to copy off of you, that counts as cheating and you receive a 0 on the assignment. There may be, I may allow an alternative assignment on a case-by-case basis. So if you have a cheat grade and you want to overwrite it with a better grade, then you can talk to me about a potential makeup assignment. SKP stands for skipped class. It counts as a 0. If you cut class, the assignments you miss count as 0 and they cannot be made up. One other thing that Aspen is great for is that I provide links to worksheets that can be made up on Aspen. So if you ever have a missing grade on Aspen, click the assignment link on Aspen and click on the worksheet link to view or print or download it. You may need to be logged into your school Google account in order to be able to access it because these files are almost always on my Google Drive. So you don't have to ask me, what does this worksheet that I'm missing look like? You can always look on Aspen and see what the worksheet looks like yourself. So the next online resource I want to talk to you about is called YouTube. You may not have heard of this before. It's a place where you can watch videos online. It's truly amazing. I have a YouTube channel. I've just started a new channel in summer 2020. So when I took the screenshot, I had 1 whole subscriber. Because I teach a couple different classes, I do have a couple of different playlists. So you can see here that I've got a Chem 1 playlist and I've got an IB chemistry playlist. So just make sure that you're watching the videos that correspond to the correct class. I will be uploading more videos here and they will be separated by module that we're working on so that you don't get confused by videos that don't belong to the module that you're currently working on. My channel is called Armsworth Science. It contains videos made entirely by me. I will assign videos for you to take notes from as a homework assignment so that we can spend more class time together doing activities, doing experiments, working through practice problems. The next online resource I need you to be able to access is your online textbook. If you go to the Knox County Schools textbook page, which is 18249, and scroll down, you will see the Pearson Easybridge link, which you click. And when you click on it, you should, because you're logged into your Office 365 account, automatically be taken into whatever Pearson Easybridge textbooks you have access to. Here I have a few classes, so I've got a few different access points, but you may not see this right away. You may have to click the down arrow to see what textbook is associated with your chemistry class. But then when you click the Chemistry 2017 link, you may get taken to another page that looks like this. So you have to click Chemistry 2017 again. And then hopefully you will get taken to a page that looks like this. There are a lot of different online resources available through your Pearson chemistry textbook. The main one for now that I need you to know about is the e-textbook. So if you click on the e-textbook, you will be taken to an electronic version of the textbook. You do not want to have to click next page to get to whatever chapter you're looking for. So you're going to want to use this menu in the top right corner to view the table of contents. And when you open up the table of contents, you can see whatever chapter it is that you think you want to look at. So in Module 0, that has to do with scientific measurement. So we'll start here at page 60, and then you will automatically be linked to Chapter 3 of your textbook. The nice thing about the e-textbook is if you're not a strong reader, if you prefer to be read to, or if English is not your first language and you prefer to translate the page into a different language, you can, using Google Chrome extensions, install apps like Google Translate or Read Aloud, which will read to you aloud. So those are make the textbook more accessible to a wider variety of students. There are several websites that we will use in the course of the year where I want you to have a specific login for your particular class. So I'm not going to go into great detail about these 5 websites right now because I want you to use a particular class code to join the right class. This is especially true for Edulastic. Edulastic is how we're going to take all of our module tests. So that's really the most important one. Quizlet is a great way to, I always have vocab lists for each module. So Quizlet is a great way to study or practice your vocab words for a particular module. CK12, we do a couple of online activities through them. Khan Academy, there will be a couple of assignments, bell ringer type assignments or exit tickets that we do through them. And Quizizz, a lot of the extra credit assignments that I assign will be through Quizizz. If you want, you can go ahead and sign up for these classes now. You just won't be able to join my particular course, like link me as your instructor, until I give you those specific course codes. Please log in using your school Google account. Using your school email address linked Google account, and please check your settings so that your real name is displayed. I don't have your student number memorized, so I don't want that to be your display name. You can go in and change your settings so that I can see your first and last name and know who you are. It's important for you to be able to submit work electronically. And these are 2 pieces of software that will help you do that. Cami lets you write on PDFs online using your Google Chrome browser. And CamScanner is an app on your phone that lets you take pictures of your handwritten work and save it all as a PDF and save it to your Google Drive. So both of these pieces of software work well with Google Drive. There are a ton of alternatives. You certainly don't have to use Cami or CamScanner. These are just 2 examples of the kind of software that I'm talking about. Let me show you Cami. So when you're on the Cami page, you'll need to create create an account, I just need to sign in. And when I sign in, I get asked to choose a file from my Google Drive that I want to open. So if you have saved whatever worksheet to your Google Drive, then you can open it. Okay, so I've opened up this worksheet on Cami, an older worksheet from Module 0. For some of these, it may make sense to just do typing your answer. So enter in a text box and just showing my work, 15 plus 273 equals 288 Kelvin. Okay, and that works fine typing for some of your answers. But here, if I'm going to show my work, there is some math to do here, and it's a division problem, and that's going to be kind of hard to type. So here's one way you can do it. Okay, so this problem involves division. So I typed my numerator in, I typed my denominator in, and now just to represent that division line, I'm just draw by hand the division line, and then I can type in my answer, which is 2.9% after I've done the calculation. So this way you can show your work. You can capture the idea that it's a fraction by handwriting parts of it and typing other parts. CamScanner, as I said, is an app available on Androids and iOS that allows you to take pictures of written work, save as a PDF directly to Google Drive so that you can then access and upload your work to Canvas. There are other comparable apps out there. This is the one I'm most familiar with and know how to use, but there's no reason you need to use this app, or there's no reason that you need to choose Cami if you're writing on PDFs. You may have other software, but this software is freely available. Okay. The last two electronic resources I want to show you are just extensions available for Chrome through the web store, the Chrome web store. If you just do a search on Google Translate, if English isn't your first language and you want resources like your e-textbook to be translated into your preferred language, you can install this on your Chrome browser. You can see I have this installed already. And Read Aloud is another Chrome extension that you can install to have resources like your e-textbook read to you. So I hope that this was useful to you. You will be using these resources throughout the year, so hopefully having these instructions all in one place will be helpful to you in the year ahead. I look forward to spending the year with you.